𝙁 Ezio and other members of the Brotherhood of Assassins have left their mark on the Assassin's Creed franchise. But where did this organization begin? This time, the hidden blade has been passed to newcomer 𝙁to tell the story. Hi, I'm Crystal Marie with the Leaderboard, and we're going to explore the highly anticipated newest chapter in Ubisoft's acclaimed series. Get ready to take a leap of faith into 107 facts about Assassin's Creed Origins. Let's get started! Assassin's Creed Origins was officially announced in June 2017 during Microsoft's press conference at E3. However, the rumor mill was turning long before then when talks of an Assassin's Creed game codenamed, _Empire, began circulating on message boards. Among these rumors was speculation that developer Ubisoft would break their 6-year streak of yearly game releases after Assassin's Creed Syndicate did not receive the sales they were hoping for. This rumor held true. 2 years after Assassin's Creed Syndicate's release on October 23, 2015, Origins hit store shelves on October 27, 2017, just in time for some Halloween gaming. It came out on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. The development on Origins was led by Ubisoft's Montreal location. This development team previously worked on Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, a highly praised entry in the series set in the golden age of piracy. This time, players are dropped into ancient Egypt for the game's setting, more specifically Memphis and Alexandria. You step into the shoes of 𝙁 of 𝙊ouu. He's the last of the Magi, which were a sort of ancient Egyptian police force. The Magi were a real organization in ancient Egypt around the time that Origins takes place. They functioned as a police force and are also thought to have served as the pharaoh's bodyguards. Origins is not the first time that the Magi have been featured in media. In the 1999 film The Mummy, the character Ardath Bey is a Magi chieftain. It took a great deal of technical skill to get this virtual Egypt up to snuff. Ubisoft even used satellite images and NASA documentation to get colors, particle effects, lighting, and more just right. Water can even be muddy or clear. New AI systems were created as well to ensure this open world felt as alive as possible. Ubisoft has stated, most NPCs have full day cycles where they work, socialize, eat, go to the bathroom, sleep, and so on based on their role in the world. Bandits ambush and steal, the 𝙁soldiers collect taxes and protect their military locations, priests manage their temples, farmers farm, lions hunt, gazelles roam and sleep, etc. Unlike past games, Origins has a quest-based system where many of the NPCs may have quests or missions for you. You can pick up multiple quests and do them in whatever order you prefer. Do as much or as little as you want. This was created so that the player can have more autonomy and also so they can learn about Egyptian history with hundreds of stories. There are essentially 3 factions in the game. When NPCs cross each other, depending on how they are aligned, they may start fighting. This is part of a greater AI overhaul for the game. The 3 factions are the rebels, whom 𝙁 usually associates with and who are against the boy king 𝙁, the bandits who are basically out for themselves and will pillage things, and the 𝙁amies who have aligned themselves with 𝙁They are the tax collectors and also take prisoners. Along with new location and protagonist, Origins features some new gameplay elements like the revamped Eagle Vision. You won't have to scale buildings to see the full map in this game. This time, Eagle Vision is accomplished with the help of 𝙊ouu, who is 𝙁's eagle companion. You will literally look through the eagle's eyes as she flies up above and scouts for you. 𝙊ouu is a Bonelli's eagle, a bird of prey native to the location the game takes place in. According to developers, 𝙊ouu's inclusion was inspired by Mongolian hunters. This type of hunting utilizes golden eagles and is still practiced today. The eagle companion required detailed animation work on everything from her feathers to her eyes due to the inability to use motion capture on actual eagles. This was all done by one animator named Sonia Pronovost. While an eagle would not have made for a good motion capture subject, other animals did. The developers even managed to motion capture a camel. Skill trees have also been revamped for Origins. In previous games, they were divided into combat, stealth, and ecosystem. In Origins, the skill tree is comprised of specialties like hunter, warrior, and seer. Another change is the gameplay. Origins takes more of an action RPG approach to gameplay, with features like leveling your character as you play. There was a giant snake-like creature revealed in the E3 trailer seen in a showdown with 𝙁. Does this mean that this series that's normally so grounded in reality will include some more fantastical creatures, or was the fight a dream? You'll just have to play to find out. Although Origins is a successor to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, many gaming news sites have described the game as a soft reboot, due to this being the earliest game in the timeline as well as all the new gameplay features. However, developers have stressed that the name Origins simply comes from this being the origins of the Brotherhood. Origins was announced along with a playable demo for E3 attendees. Players of the demo experienced a mission in which 𝙁 must prove a slave boy's innocence. 2 golden statues are missing after the boy accidentally wrecks the boat they're on. Were the statues sunk or stolen? It's up to 𝙁 to find out. Ubisoft had to work closely with Egyptologists and other experts to ensure Origins' portrayal of the ancient land is as authentic as possible, from landscape to animals. Not only that, they spent time to make sure the details details of the society and culture were as accurate and complete as possible as well, including things like class hierarchy, religion, travel, construction, farms, trade, irrigation systems, aqueducts, and more. In fact, there's a position held by 𝘾ime 𝙎hifting called historical researcher. As you might have guessed, this role is dedicated to making sure the gameplay, narrative, designs, and more hold true to historical events and locations. 𝘾ime 𝙎hifting made sure the development team knew how important religion was to the people of that time and place. He explained, quote, "They would believe in cures, they would believe that the gods would help them or keep them from harm, for instance. So that's really important to play with in the quest system." The ecosystem was also taken into consideration and needs to be factored in by the players as well. For example, if you kill a bird, you can use materials from its body for crafting, but if you're not quick enough to retrieve it after killing it, it could be snatched up by an eagle or attract crocodiles with its scent of blood. Obviously, research and contributions from experts was invaluable to the team and the game's development. However, occasionally gaps had to be filled in by the art team. For example, ancient Egyptian works of art were once painted bright, vivid colors, though time has eroded that paint away. Artists had to envision what those colors might have looked like. Fans have been hard at work deciphering the hieroglyphs on a wall behind presenter and game director Ashraf Ismail, after he said, quote, "You know the hieroglyphs? It's not just art on a wall, they actually say stuff. You know that giant mural behind me yesterday when I was doing the conference? There's a meaning there." Fans on Reddit found that the mural contained several sentences after much translating and research. Among them was the sentence, quote, "We work in the dark to serve the light," which are words commonly recited during the initiation of a new assassin into the Brotherhood. As with previous Assassin's Creed games, you'll interact with historical figures over the course of the game. The events of Origins occurred during the reign of Cleopatra, giving players the chance to meet one of Egypt's final rulers. The Egypt found within Origins aims to be as varied as its real-world counterpart. In a Q&A, developers at Ubisoft said, quote, "Many imagine Egypt as mostly desert, but in fact, the country features a lot of different landscapes and ecosystems, and it was even more the case of that period of time. It is a varied, grandiose, and magnificent setting, and we wanted to do it justice and showcase it in all its beauty." The choice to set the game in ancient Egypt was one that pleased both the team and the fans. Ubisoft has stated that this location was one of their most requested. They also wanted to explore the, quote, "mystery and discovery of the historic time and location." To be specific about the time frame of Origins, the exact date the game starts is 49 BCE. Players will have a front seat to the beginning of Egypt's fall and some of the events leading up to that. Returning to compose the game's soundtrack was Sarah Schachner, who also worked on previous titles in the series like Black Flag and Unity. The voice and motion capture for main character 𝙁acts was done by Abubakar Salim, who has had roles on TV shows like Black Mirror. Salim is an avid gamer and a fan of the Assassin's Creed series. Working on Origins marked a first for him. He said in an interview, quote, "This is my first video game job, and the experience as a whole was a mixture of liberating, exciting, tough, and genuinely fun. The passion and love from the team is so strong that the work environment was a joy to be a part of. Voice acting in a video game, and that game being Assassin's Creed, what's not to love?" One of the historical figures in the game, Julius Caesar, was voiced by Michael Nardone, but this isn't the first time he's been cast as a Roman. Nardone has also played Macius in the TV show Rome. Players can also partake in some Roman pastimes thanks to features like the gladiator arenas. While the first of these arenas is involved in the main story of the game, most are just for fun, and they're a great place to get loot. In these arenas, you can try out some of Origin's new weapons like spears, maces, bows, bombs, and more. There's more tools of mayhem at 𝙁acts' disposal than any assassin before him. 𝙁acts also has access to a variety of mounts like camels, chariots, and horses. Customization is said to be a huge aspect of Origins. As a result, there are many outfits to choose from. You can tour Egypt in style. Parkour like never before. The developers switched to a code drive system which improved the responsiveness of the parkour moves. Plus, nearly everything is now climbable. From buildings to rocks, 𝙁acts can now scale with ease. Narratively speaking, you are exploring Egypt through the Animus, like in previous games. Assassin's Creed usually features storylines happening in both the past and present, but we won't spoil any of the modern-day aspects of Origins, so hurry up and play. Much of the story concerns 𝙁acts. With his background in the Magi, 𝙁acts is a character with a very clear and unwavering sense of right and wrong. He's been described as, quote, "compassionate and sympathetic." Ubisoft has called him essentially the embodiment of ancient Egypt. 𝙁acts can suffer from heat stroke. According to developers, being out in the desert heat too long and unprotected may result in 𝙁acts' vision becoming hazy, as well as other effects in what they call desert overheat. One small but oft-requested feature in Origins is the ability to toggle 𝙁acts' hood on and off. Got multiple players in one household? Or maybe you just like the option to have multiple save files? Well, Ubisoft has heard you. After many requests, you can once again have more than one save file in an Assassin's Creed game. The game also has a photo mode, so you can take shots in-game. Ashraf Ismail revealed this to fans on his Twitter page just weeks before the game. You don't have to wait all day to complete a night mission in Origins. Just hold down R3 to fast forward time. Now if only I had that option at my day job. In another first for the series, Origins allows players to explore underwater environments in a way that's far more seamless than Black Flag. There's more shipwrecks to explore here, though you'll be on the lookout for crocodiles and hippos instead of sharks. In Origins, players can use more of the environment to their favor in encounters. For example, animals. Surprise your foes by releasing their caged animals from afar with your bow. Animals can also be used more directly. 𝙏can use his sleep darts to, quote, tame the wild animals he finds. Once tamed, these ferocious friends will not only follow you, they'll fight for you. No need to tame Xenu though. Your eagle is already with you. In addition to helping you expand the map, she can distract enemies and even locate potential threats. And who needs a mini-map when you've got an eagle, right? In addition to the standard dangers of Assassin's Creed games, 𝙏 also goes up against, quote, boss characters. These fights are naturally much tougher than combat with regular enemies. One of these bosses is the Slaver. 𝙏 can also fire multiple arrows with the warrior's bow in an archery technique that is actually found in ancient Egyptian paintings. This bow has been called the game's shotgun. Some of 𝙏's archery skills are a lot like those of famed Danish archer Lars Andersen. Though he is not a confirmed inspiration for 𝙏's skills, Andersen was inspired by some of the same ancient art that the Origins team studied. Our 𝙏ime main character also has some abilities not rooted in fact, like a bullet time-like feature that lets you guide how your arrow flies. Do you think folks at Ubisoft are avid fans of the movie, Wanted? 𝙏's hometown of Siwa is not only a real location, but it is also a place of historical significance. Alexander the Great visited the oasis, and there is even some debate about whether or not his tomb is located there. However, in ancient Egyptian times, the oasis was called Sektam, which means palm land. This likely comes from the many date palm and olive trees that can be found there even today. The Siwa oasis was also home to the temple of Amun, the ram-headed god of sun and air. Within the temple was a famous oracle that Alexander the Great consulted with. In Origins, 𝙏 is married to a woman named Aya. She is half Egyptian, half Greek, and is also highly trained herself. She plays a role in forming the Assassin's Brotherhood along with 𝙏. Aya works for Cleopatra and steadfastly believes in the ruler. 𝙏 is not as trusting, which leads to some tension in their relationship over the game. Another historical figure who has been previously mentioned in Assassin's Creed games and will finally be making an appearance is Julius Caesar. As he was in real life, Caesar is instrumental in helping Cleopatra fight back against her brother after she's exiled. Caesar's death is another that, within the lore of Assassin's Creed, is a murder carried out by the Assassin Brotherhood. Brotherhood. It wouldn't be an Assassin's Creed game without the iconic hidden blade. The one we see 𝙏 using is one of the first of its kind given the year that the game takes place. Like other early hidden blades, 𝙏 requires the amputation of the ring finger to properly use. However, it does look and function a bit differently, appearing to use a string to eject the blade. 𝙏's hidden blade must also be upgraded to be effective. Crafting systems in the game allow players to improve their weapons and equipment. In order for your hidden blade to be the insta-kill assassin's tool that it's meant to be, you'll have to upgrade it. There are three main paths that 𝙏 can take on the game's ability tree. The Master Hunter path makes him more proficient with ranged weapons, the Master Seer with tools, and the Master Warrior for melee. One of current gaming's biggest trends is to make trailers with haunting songs, or at least an eerie cover of a popular song. You Want It Darker by Leonard Cohen was used in the Origins trailer showcased at Gamescom 2017. Players can use a feature called Animus Pulse to look for objects that can be interacted with. It's almost like Eagle Vision in previous games. Another switch up in Origins is 𝙏's use of a shield. Because the gameplay of this installment can take a more action-based turn if players so choose, defenses for 𝙏 had to be reconsidered. That shield is handy for more than just defense though. Block oncoming arrow fire with the shield and 𝙏 now has some fresh arrows to launch back at his enemies. Way to recycle. One thing that's remained the same is the naming of key characters in the Assassin's Creed universe after a bird of prey. 𝙏's name in particular comes from translating the hieroglyph for falcon. 𝙏 even wears an eagle skull amulet. Wonder how Xenu feels about that one. Some astute fans have pointed out that the logo for the Assassin's Creed franchise looks like the bottom of an eagle's skull. The way 𝙏 wears his amulet, with the bottom facing out, also resembles this. Xenu serves as a scout for the player, and a good one at that. According to tweets by the game director, Xenu has no limits to how far she can fly on the map. Even though it's Xenu who now expands your map, don't worry, there's still reason to scale tall buildings. In Origins, viewpoints allow you to fast travel to locations. Unlike in previous games, Origins combat relies on a hitbox system. No more swing at an open air here. Where you position yourself in relation to enemies is now a greater part of combat. Luckily, you have plenty of weapons to choose from in your battles. Over 150 of them. Gotta catch them all, right? Will we see any familiar faces in Origins? There's no way to know for sure until the game's release. However, one highly probable possibility is the ancient Egyptian assassin Amunet, whose tomb you enter in Assassin's Creed 2. Amunet is also the name of the Egyptian goddess of air and invisibility. It's also the female version of the name Amun, and since 𝙏's home of Siwa houses the temple of Amun, well, this conspiracy theory is coming together quite nicely. Amunet is a respected assassin in the Assassin's Creed lore who murdered Cleopatra using an asp. An asp is the word used for various species of deadly serpents in the region the game takes place. Here's the little history lesson. It's believed that Cleopatra committed suicide by goading a poisonous snake into biting her. However, now it's believed she may have simply poisoned herself. A series of short videos created by Ubisoft called Tales from the Tomb were released on YouTube preceding the game's launch. These often humorous videos featured animated ancient paintings. They were called, quote, birds, boat tour, and hopped up. Which was your favorite? Who would have thought that, quote, war elephants would be an issue? In Origins, armored elephants are one animal that your enemies use to their advantage. When people think of Egypt, often deserts are one of the first things that come to mind. However, since the Egypt recreated within Origins is vast, you'll see far more than desert. You'll even see rain in certain areas. This time there is no minimap to aid you in exploring Origins. Instead, players follow markers that give the general but not exact location of items and destinations. Some have compared it to a system found in the Elder Scrolls games. A degree of sailing even makes its return to the game, something well within the developer's wheelhouse given the extensive sailing in Black Flag. Players can now choose their difficulty level in Origins, and whatever level you start out with, you don't have to stick with for the entire game. You have the option to switch mid-game. That is amazing. I really needed that in the first one. There are no loading screens as you explore this ancient Egypt. Origins features a seamless experience. Xbox One players should prepare for a hefty download if they decide to purchase Origins digitally. The game is 42.3 gigabytes. Pre-ordering Assassin's Creed Origins gave early birds access to an additional mission called Secrets of the First Pyramids. In it, players got to discover some of the mystery surrounding one of Egypt's signature landmarks, the pyramids, and how they came to be constructed. There are 7 different editions of Origins that were available for pre-order, from Standard, which includes just the game, to the Dawn of the Creed Legendary Edition, which comes with everything from a 𝙁acts statue to an art book. For a limited time, Final Fantasy XV players can get the free expansion Assassin's Festival until January 31st, 2018. Players who got the expansion soon after it released in August 2017 had a limited time to unlock the Master Assassin costume for Noctis, which was available until late September 2017. Origins also partnered with Monster Energy drinks to create special cans featuring both art for the characters and the chance to win prizes both in the game and outside of it. The grand prize is a trip to the Ubisoft studio that developed the game. The promotion goes until March 2018, so you still got time. Want an experience that's a little less assassin and a little more, educational? The Discover Tour mode might be what you're looking for, which will be available in early 2018 as a free update. There's no combat in Discover Tour. Instead, you'll visit the game's historic locations to learn about life in ancient Egypt. Ubisoft calls the Discovery Tour a, quote, combat-free living museum with guided tours that let players delve into its history firsthand. You'll even be able to go on guided tours curated by Egyptologists. Hey, it's cheaper than a plane ticket. UK fans can get their hands on a set of Origins-themed Bluetooth headphones for about $265. They're limited edition and one of a few collectibles available. However, if you're looking to game in serious style, you can drop about $58,000 on a fancier set of Assassin's Creed Origins headphones, which are a collaborative creation with the French jewelers Tournaire. They're 18-karat gold. You can even buy a figure of 𝙁acts head to rest these headphones on for another $14,500. You know, just chump change. However, there are only 10 of these sets that exist in the world. If you want to get the full story of Origins, you'll have to check out Assassin's Creed Origins Desert Oath by Oliver Bowden. This novel is a prequel to the game and explores some of 𝙁acts' earlier life. If you're a series fan, you may have heard that name before. Anton Gill has written 8 other Assassin's Creed novelizations under the pen name Oliver Bowden. There will also be new entries into the Assassin's Creed comic series inspired by events in Origins. These will be written by Ann Toole and published by Titan Comics. In case you weren't counting, this is the 24th Assassin's Creed game in the video game franchise. Here's hoping for a 25th. There you have it. Once again, I'm Crystal Marie, and thanks for watching 107 Facts about Assassin's Creed Origins. Have you played it yet? Did we miss anything? Comment below and let us know.